So, hello and a warm welcome to the Fintech OS Evolve podcast. You will notice we're in very different surroundings today. I've taken Evolve on tour to Chisinau in Moldova. And the reason I've done that is to have Alex Pickler here, the CEO of Moldindconbank, come sit with us, share his thoughts and his insights into banking in Moldova. Welcome.
Thank you.
And we're going to be discussing quite a few themes here today, Alex. Modernization, digital transformation,
right,
technology strategy. I'm sure we'll touch on a little bit of regulation. And of course, a podcast isn't a podcast if we don't talk about AI at some point as well. So, let's get started because at Moldindconbank, Alex, you've gone through quite a significant digital transformation. Why don't you talk us through a bit of that, what the challenges were, what went right, what went wrong? I'm sure lots went wrong. And maybe some of the learnings for some of the viewers and listeners here, certainly in Moldova, to take away.
Maybe I tell you two words about myself. I'm in banking now for 36 years.
You don't look like you have.
Thank you very
Too
much.
young.
Yeah, I started at 11. I started my career in Austria, then went to Central and Eastern Europe. I'm a CEO now for almost 18 years in different banks. Had a lot of interesting countries like Western Balkans, Belgrade, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, and now Russia to Poland. And now Moldova. Moldova is a very interesting country. It's on the frontier. Now with the war in Ukraine, very important now. We'll have elections in 2 weeks, so we are very, very much hoping that we keep the European path. Yeah. Moldindconbank here is the second largest bank. We are more known as the People's Bank. We are not so advanced in digitalization. So this is why we want to go for it.
Absolutely.
And we need to go for it.
Yeah.
So I'm here now for 3 years. 2.5 years ago, we started in implementing a new core system.
Yeah.
Which is now working nicely, but doesn't do any miracles.
Sure.
So the miracles come with our application, with our IT people, and it is a tough path because we are very bureaucratic. I mean, the whole country is bureaucratic. That's a heritage of the Soviet Union.
Yeah, yeah.
And luckily, I know a little bit about that, and I know a little bit how to break it. And now we have a very innovative team, particularly in IT. We are trying agile. And so we're trying it because, the real agile is miles away.
Yeah. It's interesting, though, because when people talk about agile, in my experience sometimes, is that agility through transformation is often a path well trodden until it gets to kind of the exco level, where suddenly they want that waterfall approach. So it's quite interesting you're talking about it.
No, bureaucracy is, generally I tell the people, bureaucracy is your friend. You do everything according to the book.
Yeah. It's
your get out of jail card.
Yeah.
But if you do it too much, you are not getting anywhere. So that's the problem there. And hierarchy and agility don't really fit together.
Sure.
So we are trying to jump from here to there. For the time being, quite successful. Yeah. But the major problems we faced in the getting more digitalized was that the old systems didn't work well together with the new systems.
Sure.
Then we are heavily regulated. Yeah. We have anti-money laundering. We are a frontier state here, so this is very important. Anti-terrorism financing, and you have it. Then we have this small territory of Transnistria here, which is they declare themselves their own state.
Yeah.
Luckily for them, nobody else did recognize them, not even Russia. And we cannot do banking with them because it's not allowed to send money there. It's not allowed to receive money from there.
Sure.
Our bank, Moldindconbank, was involved in the money laundering scandal before it was privatized. Yeah. So you have immediately, we have to be more Catholic than
absolutely,
the Pope.
You have to be whiter than white. Yeah. It has to be, absolutely. Yeah.
I get calls from customers. They say, oh, couldn't we do this and that and this and that? And I say, don't even talk to me. Yeah. Definitely no.
Yeah. In fact, you're probably going to be regulated to even higher level than some of your competitors because of the background.
Yes, I think this is the way, but this is what we want to be. We didn't have a dollar account for very many years.
Yeah.
Now we got it back. We are working now with international organizations. Just today, I signed an agreement with the European Investment Bank. So we are slowly getting back on the international landscape. And of course, our digitalization is necessary there too, because we have a lot of customers outside of the country, the well-known diaspora. And it's big because a lot of young people and even older people are leaving the country and working abroad.
It's interesting. So you started with a core transformation. It sounds like that went okay.
That went okay, yeah.
And now you're looking at how do you start to digitize maybe the front end, the customer experience and the colleague experience to try and bring some of that digitalization through processes.
Right.
So that you can get more growth, speed to market, get your products out quicker, ultimately expedite that customer experience a bit. Is that the bit that you're trying to do now?
That's what we're trying to do
now.
And
I guess the systems aren't.
No, because the big mistake was, as always is, we adapted. We didn't adapt our processes.
Yeah.
We adapted the system to our processes, and our processes are bad.
Yeah.
They're old, they're complicated, and now we are thinking how to redo the processes, which needs a reprogramming there too.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the user experience is not that. It's getting better, we can do things, but still.
So you spent a whole bunch of money getting a brand new core in and to make you go faster, but actually you haven't changed the fundamental issues to get faster. So I always use the analogy, you've heard it before, but you buy a Ferrari but drive it like a Fiat. That's what you've done.
It's exactly what it is, and unfortunately a lot of banks are doing that.
Absolutely,
and,
yeah.
Now we have to reverse this process, which is possible, but it's a little bit more cumbersome, but we are fine with it.
It's interesting because with most transformations comes an element of dysfunction and chaos. It's like kind of organised chaos in a bank, and it's important to bring your colleagues along that journey with you. So if they've gone through a core transformation and for 2 years, it's a long period of time, and they haven't seen things get better, how hard is that to kind of re-energise that your people to say things are getting better with the front end digitalisation?
They see it a little bit now. Now we are at the stage that we do have the largest branch network in the country.
Yeah.
And we want to keep it. So we really want to do the bricks and the clicks.
Yeah.
So for the time being, it is like that customers are queuing in front of the ATM. So we have that. Wouldn't believe that, but I saw the queues. So they told me, I didn't believe it. Then I went there, I saw it, even in Chisinau.
Yeah.
So then they take the money, they go into the branch, they queue again, and then they make a payment.
Yeah.
And now we have a person who stands there at the entrance, telling them, well, what do you want to do? You want to just take the money, or you want to make a payment, municipal payment, for example. Yeah. And if they say municipal payment, they say, well, come here. You have our application. Yeah. We'll show you how you can do that. Yeah. And that's quicker for you. Absolutely. Even cheaper, because you have a certain fee for that. Yeah. And why don't you do that? So we want to transform our cashiers into people who consult our customers. Yeah. So that slowly moves. Of course, it has the problem because a lot of people in the branch say, "Oh, you want to get rid of my job." And this is where I'm coming in. I'm traveling quite a lot to the branches. I'm telling them, well, your job will vanish within 1 year, but you won't. Exactly. But you have to change. Yeah. You become a consultant to the customer, and we want you to talk to the customer, because this was the mistake which Germany made or Austria made in the 90s. They said, oh, no, we put the machines there, and behind that the people. And then everyone was going to the machines, and they didn't like it, and they hated it. And all of a sudden the cross-sell dropped because no one was coming to the people, and they said, well, I don't see my customer anymore. Yeah. Right.
The transformation has always been it's about evolving as a business, as an entity, and as human beings, right? Because you've been in banking a long time, I've been in banking a long time. You can imagine the transformations and the digitalizations that the banks we've worked for has gone through, and how we have evolved as individuals. mean, my first job at a bank was,
Cashier.
putting envelopes in, stuffing statements in envelopes. So
I did that too, so I hated it.
then something, and then you're getting checks, but then check imaging came along. But as individuals, you grow, you become more skilled, and you evolve as much as the technology does. But the balance is, as you quite put it, it's the blend between the human and the technology, so that your customers and your colleagues still feel that human touch.
Right.
And that's the balance.
And I think this is the chance for the banks. I have to admit that some 6-7 years ago, I thought, okay, the banks will die, blockchain will take everything, and it didn't happen. And why? Because we all want to cut out the middleman.
Yeah.
That's fair. We don't want to pay for that. But then, if we have a problem, immediately we need a person. We need a telephone number.
You do, yeah.
Blockchain doesn't have a telephone number, so Bitcoin neither.
Yeah.
So Ether doesn't have a telephone number. So you do something wrong, you take a huge responsibility on you.
Yeah.
If you do it wrong on the application with the bank, and you put the zero too much or too less, you call the bank and say, "Hey guys, I made a mistake." And if they have a good call center, which we are trying to have, they will tell you, "Oh, yeah, let me stop that and let's change that and do that." So I do think really banks can survive. They will survive, because this is the point where you really get the customer.
Yeah.
You solve a problem for him.
And I think you're the second biggest bank here, and so you're market leading in a way. So you're showing other banks the way to kind of blend that digitalization and human element. And as you say, you've done your core, and now you do your front end. So it's about redesigning those processes and procedures and those touch points, bringing in digital tools, fintech players, whatever it might be, but then designing those journeys so that every element has a human off-ramp. It has a touch point for your branch, for your call center, so that your customers know where to go, and they can be relationship managed throughout their whatever product journey they're going to have.
Exactly. That's the idea. And we want to turn, a lot of our cashiers now in the branches, and we have about 1,800 staff, so quite a lot of people, and we want to turn them into call center employees too, the cashiers in the branches, because then we can say, and if you really have a problem, come to me, I'm sitting 500 meters from you in Edinets, for example, and then they say, "Oh, really?"
And those people in the branch, you think of the years and wealth of experience they've got of the products, the way banks work. They are the best people to be able to speak to get things done. Often they know the ways around things.
Yeah. And they don't want to come to Chisinau and work in the classical setting of a call center. And they wouldn't like it. And we were thinking of outsourcing call centers, as everyone does. Yeah. And then you say, okay, fine. And then you have the Indian speaking Romanian. Sorry to be there.
But it's interesting because transformation isn't just about technology. It's about culture. It's the culture of your business.
Yes. Fully agree. Culture there eats the technology if necessary. And if you cannot put that together, you are totally losing the customers. And that's basically the chance for the banks. Because if you look around all the neobanks, all the flashy, wonderful applications you get around, you don't need a bank.
Yeah.
Unless you have a personal relationship. Why I'm still banking with my old bank from 40 years ago, because I know the lady and I can call her and tell her, "Listen, I have a problem with doing there and there and there, and can you please help me?" And she says, "Yes, I can, and the next time you come and sign it." I cannot do that with anyone.
It's back to relationships again.
Yeah, that's again the relationship, and then I don't look at the fees they're charging me.
You just ignore that bit. That relationship goes downhill really quickly.
I say, well, there's a value in that I can call. For that I have to pay. Okay, fine.
Yeah. So that sounds like at Moldindconbank, you're definitely using technology as an enabler to kind of push your business strategy along to the next few years. So if you could start to visualize that next 5 years of using technology, where do you think you get to? Obviously, you have to redesign your journeys and possibly products as well.
Yes.
As customer behavior and expectations are starting to change, are you sitting down with your fellow exco and having that discussion around that strategy?
Yes, we're doing that very, very heavily. And we are fighting a lot about that.
Yeah.
And that's
a
a good
healthy
fight.
fight, yeah,
That's
yeah.
a good fight,
Yeah.
because if we all have one opinion, we say, yeah, we go there, then we don't get there.
Yeah.
So we are having a lot of discussions on that. Now, for the time being, we envision kind of a very modern branch where you sit side by side with the client. The client comes in with a mobile phone and says, well, can you set that up with this municipal payment?
Yeah.
Or can you help me on that? Or how do I get a loan with that? And we're doing it.
Yeah, so I think it's really important then to have your journeys and your products to a point where it's omnichannel, so a customer can start their process on their mobile phone or their iPad or laptop at home, on the train, in the car, and then be able to come into the branch and pick up exactly where they left off,
Exactly,
with that
yes.
little bit of
Yep,
help,
yep.
and complete that journey.
And it's a difference. I mean, I see that with my kids. If I tell them, well, go to the bank and do that, they say, oh, no,
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
want to go in a bank.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So if I cannot do that online, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, I get that.
So that's different. Pensioners, they are bored. They want to go to the bank there, and but we're trying to get them on cards.
Yeah.
So we had a good project in Belz, which is the second largest city here, and they have these buses, and we put 2 terminals in the buses where you can pay with a card.
Yep.
And we told the pensioners, well, we have now a special promotion. Instead of, I don't remember, was it 6 lei? Now it costs you 3 lei if you pay with a card.
Yeah.
So
Trying to drive that adoption.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
cents,
Yeah.
right? What the bus tickets cost. So we'll never make money with that.
Yeah.
But we bring them into the card empire, so to say.
Yeah.
Teach them how to use them. Then we tell them, okay, you go then to the supermarket. You
Yeah.
get a discount of 7%, whatever. For a pensioner, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
But it's an investment needed, because a terminal costs between 100 and 200 euros.
Mm-hmm.
And so there are a lot of steps towards there.
Yeah, I mean, even in the story you said earlier on about people queuing up outside the ATM, taking their money out and then going to send it within the branch. Driving that adoption curve for any segment of customer. I mean, my wife's mother-in-law, she still won't use a cashier. She just doesn't trust them. So she's one of those.
Right.
And yet, even my wife, she's the same age as me, won't use Apple Pay. She'll still get a card out. And I still struggle to understand this. It's safer, it's more secure.
Right.
You know, you're trying to drive this adoption, but some behaviours are just so heavy set.
Right.
But that's why it's so interesting to hear you're trying to provide some incentives to drive that adoption, rather than just say, here's a card, I'm going to switch off the old way and you're stuck with it. Actually trying to help your customers you know, slowly but surely to evolve and to adapt into new ways.
And here in Moldova we are lucky, because even pensioners mostly have relatives or children or grandchildren abroad.
Yeah.
So they know how to do video conferencing.
Yeah.
So they are used kind of to a certain way of using technology.
Yeah.
And we tell them, well, if you can use, earlier we told them, if you can use Skype, you can use the mobile app.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess once you start getting your clients onto the mobile app or into other ways of banking, it will drive, hopefully, you'll find a new way of servicing them into kind of this uber personalized service,
Right.
Rather than this one size fits all, more kind of life-centric products and services hitting your clients at the right part of their life cycle for products and services that are relevant to them at that point.
Absolutely. This is the key, I think, to really get the clients there into their life. This is true if badly said, if we have 5 contact points with the clients with their life, it is very improbable that they will change the bank, because they know, oh no, now I have to redo all these other things. So we secure the client, and at the end of the day, it's convenience. So we have to be very convenient to the client. We have to provide the full service. We have to say, well, what I do like in the UK, for example, that kind of difficult moment when there's a round of people and then you ask for the bill and it takes 5 minutes, and then the waiter comes and you look at the bill and everyone looks at you or looks on the side. And what is possible there with the reservation? You say, okay, this is my card number. Will give you a tip of, I don't know, 5-7%.
Yeah.
And then when we're finished, we just leave.
Yeah.
So that's all possible, and then even easier when you say, well, we'll share it.
Yeah, they split the bill.
No, they don't split the bill, but you have it in your application. You say, well, the bill is I don't know, €70 or £70. So you have 3 people there. You send them a requirement. Please pay me 20.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
So convenience.
And
that's
you've seen that through big players like Revolut and some of the kind of neobanks that are doing that, and they're really, really good. Albeit the flip side is fantastic on the technology side, great user experience. I mean, doing wonders now. But it goes back to your point of who do you call when it goes wrong?
Right.
Not quite got the back office bit. Yeah.
That's really the problem. And then in addition, you have a lot of fraudsters running around. I mean, we now have a genius way. We discovered following fraud, which is very, very intelligent, and 2, a problem with the convenience, because mostly you on the phone you sign kind of with your face.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So what did they do? They called and said, we are from the telecom. We have to redo your eSIM.
Yeah.
We have to upgrade it, otherwise it won't work. So you think, most probably yes. They say, will you grant us access to your phone? And then you say, okay. And even a bank employee did that, who works with us in the bank. And she granted them access. They blackened the screen and had there something, reloading. And then they went into the mobile application. They said, can you please tell us how much is loaded already? And there was 5%. And she said, 5%. Signature. Yeah. It took 3 hours. I mean, lady, unfortunately, didn't drop the phone or whatever. And they managed in these 3 hours to rid her of all her savings, take out a loan in her name. Yeah. And the money's gone. And always when they said, well, can you please look how much it is? How much is now? 30%. 30% click face. God. Then the bank wrote SMS, but they all cashed in these SMSs and just had the screen black. Clever.
It is clever. You think of all the technology advancements that we use to better customers' experience, you've got to remember there's also bad actors out there that are exactly the same technology advancements to take advantage. Yeah. You see it all the time. We'll talk about AI later on, but AI is exactly the same thing. We're all striving for a way to use AI. In banking, we've got to be very cognizant of the fact that these bad actors are going to use AI to do that exact same scenario as well. I guess it kind of leads me on to the next point around kind of technical advancements. And Moldova, you've got a lot of experience in Moldova, and you're going to have your views on what technical advances are coming. But how do you and your team keep up to speed of all the trends and what's coming up next, and how do you then decide to whether to implement them or whether to build them yourself or buy them or partner with them? We
are traveling quite a lot. We just arranged now a travel of all managing board members to a bank in Europe, where we know that they are combining the personal service with the digital, and they're using AI much more than we do. And we go there from practitioner to practitioner and say, how do you really do it?
Oh, that's great.
So we are spending quite a lot of money to get there. Then we are at fairs. I was in Dubai recently. Then I'm going to Singapore and really see, okay, what are you doing there? So constant learning, constantly looking around, but to seeing what doesn't work. For example, some of the neobanks, they have problems. They are selling now the customer data because this is wonderful, and this is definitely not what I want to do. And at the end of the day, banking is a trust business.
Sure is.
So we need to get the trust of the customer. The trust is easily lost, so we have to constantly remain there we have this institutional trust, which is a good idea. I mean, if you have £10,000 to save and want to put it away for 3 years, you don't go to your neighbor whom you know for 30 years and say, would you please keep that for me and pay me maybe some interest? No, but you go to some institution where there's written bank, you talk to the lady, mostly they are ladies, and without any hesitation, give her the money.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is the institutional trust.
Yeah.
But if it's lost, if you have fraudsters there, if you have problems, then this is very difficult to regain.
I think it's great that you, as a leadership team, go and travel to other countries, other banks, and talk very openly about what they're doing well, what not doing so well, and keeping up to speed through your roadshows and these innovation centres, because I think that just shows how a real open-mindedness from yourself and your team to look. We've been banking a long time. We don't know everything, right? And we're not technologists. We're bankers. Fundamentally, we're bankers. We're not technologists, but we're learning.
Yeah, that means we're conservative.
Exactly.
Boring.
Yeah, and we're risk averse.
Exactly.
But the fact that you're open-minded and say, actually, I don't know what I don't know. And rather than try and make it up as you go along and make a load of mistakes, you're able to say, you know what, let's go talk to people that do and go learn from them. Yeah. And you'll make Moldindconbank a far better place, and actually you'll drive that innovation across other banks within the country as well.
Yeah, for the time being, we are not the leader in innovation, but we too look at the competition, we see what they are doing, so we're learning there too. And sometimes, being a follower is a good strategy.
It is indeed. So let's talk about some of the barriers to being that innovation centre, right? It wouldn't be a lot. Didn't think it'd be a long time before I brought up the regulators and the regulative frameworks that may or may not exist here in Moldova. Do you see some of those regulatory issues really pausing innovation, or do you see a pathway where banks and regulators in Moldova can work together to really push through?
Well, I'm trying.
I know you're quite outspoken on this.
I'm trying to talk very, very much to the regulator. The regulator is even more conservative and more restrictive, which from a certain point of view I do understand. From the other point of view, it's very difficult to work with them, particularly on anti-money laundering, on these issues. Yeah. Crypto assets are forbidden in the country. Sure. For 3 years, I'm talking to them and say, well, give us a chance, take us into a sandbox. Yep. Do it with us, try it with us. Now we have MiCA. MiCA will be coming. You want to join the European Union? I was talking to them just last week. They were saying, yeah, we have our own MiCA now ready to go to the parliament. And I said, please discuss that with us. Talk with us about it. There can be easy ways. I mean, Europe is working with that. There are fintechs who know how to deal with it. Mm-hmm. So don't just make a law and then say, oh, it doesn't work. Yeah. And don't make a law just to make it so difficult that it's not possible. Yeah. I mean, normally you say the US is innovating, China is copying, and Europe is regulating. Yeah, thank you. That's what we are. Mm-hmm. But there's some plus in the regulation. If you do it right, you can get it right. So a lot of people here are investing in crypto assets, which I think to be a good idea. Yeah. But now they do it on the kind of the hidden side. Okay. It's not allowed. Yeah. And now we want to get that legal. We want to protect them too from fraudsters. Yeah. And here there is the possibility. I think we're on a good path. We're not yet there, but they are listening. Okay,
so actually the regulator is quite open to having kind of joint sandboxes with banks?
We hope so. Just about they will. Okay. They hope so. We will. I'm selling this idea.
That's a big leap forward. That'll be good. Yeah, it's happened in England, so that really works well. So it's good to hear it's going to happen here. I think you'll see some real positive progress if that happens.
I do think so. Yes.
Yeah, because often, technology, AI, innovation, especially in today's world, the pace of it is so quick now. Yep. Even today's idea is yesterday's newspaper. It's old. Right. So not only have you got to deal with the pace of innovation, but regulatory bodies and regulations is always going to be lagging behind. So there could be this issue where innovation runs at this pace and regulation kind of runs at this pace. It's the gulf between is going to get longer and longer and longer.
Right.
So
they will never catch up, but that's to get really this distance smaller. I think that's the issue.
And have you seen a similar thing in you listed off the many countries you've worked in over your 35 years? Where do you place Moldova then in terms of that lag behind? Are they further behind than some of the other banks and countries you've worked in, or are they more progressive?
No, unfortunately, they are further behind. So, which is an opportunity too, because you can leapfrog some things. You don't have to go through the checks and then the cards and everything. You can immediately jump through there, like Africa does, for example. But or Vietnam. But it's a longer way to go. Yeah, because Moldova is not so well prepared.
So you're pretty well placed, because I'm pretty sure when I was researching Moldindconbank and yourself, there was a term that was used on the internet, and it's not a bad term, so don't have to worry. You was nicknamed a sharpshooter, somebody who could solve a problem. A real problem solver. So are you going to be bringing that? Well, you are bringing it to Moldova, but are you going to bring that experience and the fact that you can change with some of your problem solving skills, the ability to?
I'm trying, and this is why I really decided for this job, because what I do like is if I can move things. In the last 3 years, there was the possibility to move quite a lot of things, and we're still moving on. So that's interesting. If you work in a bank in Austria, you move small. You have very, very small steps.
Yeah.
And even if you are, I was heading up a bank in Austria, even if you want to do something, it's extremely difficult because the environment is much, much more restrictive. Here, jumps are possible. Yeah, you have the regulator. Yeah, you have other problems. But within the bank, we made quite some interesting steps, and this will remain. And this is what makes me going, kind of.
So we've kind of we started touching on AI, and let's go there now.
Right.
Let's go there now. So obviously you've got a bit of a pathway to go in terms of digitalizing that front end. But let's assume that's done. You've done a great job. How do you then start deploying AI in some of those journeys? Or internal journeys or external ones?
You will not find a bank who says no, we don't do AI. But if you then scratch a little bit and look into the reality, AI for them means that you have access to ChatGPT. Great, which doesn't really help.
Can your staff actually access ChatGPT? Do you allow them to use it?
Yes, we do allow them to use it.
Good.
We have several licenses there for the more upgraded version, and we tell them please do use it. But use it. But we make a short training with them, telling them what AI can do and what it can't do.
So you set the guardrails, the mitigations, and you've set the rules in which they use it.
We always tell them, be careful, we have banking secrecy. So you cannot, it's easy to say, we'll throw our portfolio at AI and ask them, so where are our risk factors? No, you cannot do that. We even had a discussion on our internal regulations. We have about 400 internal regulations. No person in the bank really knows them all, and they're definitely contradictory. So what we want to do now to load them up into AI and say, let's make a bot, and then ask the bot from a cashier perspective. This is a payment now going there. Can we do that? Is this according to all the rules? And the bot then says, yes, you can. No, you can't. So this works fine, but still we are not doing it yet. We are having discussions if we are giving too much information from ourselves to AI, to the whole world, basically. But if you do that in a restricted area, you have no additional intelligence, and that's what it lives from.
Absolutely. It sounds to me like you've set the foundations, you've put the right policies in place, some governance around it as well, which is really important. You've pinpointed a few good use cases. That's a good use. It's not the most exciting one.
No.
But actually, I was chatting
Very
to
helpful.
It's incredibly helpful. I was with a CTO. It's actually on a previous podcast where I said, if you had all the money in the world and you could pick one use case, because there's millions, right? What would you do? And it is exactly that use case, because
Really?
the amount of time, energy, effort internal users have sifting through policies that are often outdated, they're hundreds of pages long, to speed up decision making, actually having that conversational element with your policy backbook is actually incredibly good. And actually, if you can get that library installed, you can then do some really good stuff with that. You could start benchmarking customer origination loan requests against the backbook and start making speedy decisions. But that's the foundation.
Right.
So you've got to get that right first.
Right. Yeah. So we are heavily trying to do that. I mean, our programmers are using it, of course. And I'm a little bit uncertain if we all have the controls there, because one wrong line of code and you in problems, and it's difficult to test. What we're using AI is more and more is for testing. Testing, that's wonderful. You have a scroller who goes there over test scenarios, and you have it. And you don't have valuable people testing 3-4 days.
Mm-hmm. I used to love writing test scripts. I didn't, but I used to write loads of test scripts. But the fact that you can just load these scenarios into an AI and it runs it for you is just, again, saves sometimes days of effort. But I guess with using AI, though, there comes some risks around ethics and ensuring that the AI is putting out the right thing, the consistency, the transparency. How do you from a CEO perspective, you and your executive team are on the hook for that?
Yes, we do see the problem with AI, particularly regarding responsibility and accountability. So what if they do things wrong? So I'm a kind of interested in mathematics. I do these math problems which come from right, left, up and down from a mathematics Olympiad, just because I'm interested in that. And you check that with AI, and you get the wrong answer, and you get a very confident wrong answer.
You do, yes.
And then you say, no, sorry, that's wrong. They say, yeah, you're right, that was wrong. This is the solution, and it's again wrong. So they're getting better, of course.
Yes, okay.
But then this is ridiculous. I mean, mathematic solutions, okay, fine. But if you do that, then, for example, if we do a payment, if the bot says, yeah, you can go with the payment, and then the regulator says, well, you cannot. And then we check it, and you cannot. And the bot just was mistaken. Who takes the responsibility? And this is a heightened responsibility and accountability for the management, because I signed that in. I allowed that.
You did, yeah.
So I take the full responsibility for that. And two, you have all the biases.
Mm-hmm,
so we had there a case in Austria where they had to throw away an AI which they had employed for HR, where they tested it then, having an IT job, exactly the same CV, but one's for a female, one for a male, you know that. And then the AI rejected all the females because they said, well, statistically, 90% of IT workers are male, so why bother?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I mean, there's been some.
So the bias is then difficult, and I don't think you can program the bias out. That's not possible.
No. Again, we've talked about it so many times today. It is that blend between digital and human. You still need that human lens, that emotion, that intuition. I mean, the banker's intuition is so important.
It is, yes.
They can't put a price on that. So you still need that overlay. And I wonder, with any new tool that comes into our sector, there's an element of dual running. There's an element of, let's see how the AI does. Let's see how the human does.
It's a perfect test, but then you need a little bit the human too, and then if you rely too much, you take a huge responsibility. And again, something goes wrong, who's to blame?
Yeah, exactly. Especially from a risk perspective, they're going to jail if they get it wrong, and they're getting fined personally. It's a massive liability.
I'll get the fine. I cannot tell the national bank, okay, go after the AI. We have
it would take a brave AI to go up against you in terms of financial analysis. I can well imagine you, typing away financial ratios and going, no, that's wrong.
That's right.
I can well imagine you doing that so many times. I bet you take a lot of fun in doing that.
Yeah.
Oh dear. So next 5 years, last question on AI, I'm not going to talk about AI after this. Where do you see Moldindconbank and Moldova generally adopting AI? Do you see it being a slow curve, or do you see it being one big bang?
As always, no, I don't think there will be a big bang.
But there's a future for AI here.
Definitely there's a future, and if they are clever enough, I mean, they're very well doing on the digitalization. Now we have this EVO, which is all the electronic documents and so on. So that's going very well. It's not all the dots connected and not all the T's are crossed, but they can get into that. And as soon as you have such a system, AI is the logical next step.
Yeah.
And then you can do that, and then you have to be careful. Okay, do you do social profiling? Do you do racial profiling? Do you say, well, you're living in this area, this is why you don't get a mortgage?
Yeah.
So you need then an officer most probably who does a random check and then goes a little bit deeper and does then a general checks and so on. I do think it's possible, but difficult. And I mean, luckily we are not in the US where you are sued then by millions of dollars. So that won't happen here if we say no. I mean, it's our discretion. But we should know about that.
Yeah. And I guess ultimately what underpins AI and that intelligence is the data. Making sure that the data that you're sourcing, whether it be from open source or from your own internal system, is clean, it's usable, it's consumable.
Yep, and we all know that.
And I knew you was grinning. I saw you grinning.
Not the case. It's not the case. Data is always scrambled, and it just starts when someone enters data into the form and they do it wrongly, and then it keeps on for years.
Yeah, I have not come across a bank in my years that has never called one piece of data the same thing through various systems. It's called a spade, it's called a shovel, it's called a fork, it's called a knife. It's never called one thing.
Nope.
Because the regulator wants it in that format, your finance director wants it in that format, your COO wants it in that format, and suddenly you have this massive data dictionary. It's pulling this all together.
No, we put it together. We have now one data tsar in the bank. He's running this. He's the head of all the data. All data has to go over him.
Yeah.
And I'm fighting heavily that there are other data centers, other CRMs, other ways. And we have to centralize that and have a data governance.
Data czar, he's going to be the most valuable person in your business at some point.
Best hated, I tell you.
I'm sure he will be.
Best hated.
Okay, look, we're coming to an end. Alex, it's been fantastic talking to you. So I always kind of finish these podcasts with a couple of kind of open-ended questions. And the first one I wanted to pose to you was, if you could just solve one problem here in Moldova, one problem, whether it be people, process technology, culture, whatever it might be, mindset, adoption, what's that one thing, if you could wave that magic wand and solve it for Moldova? It might not be any of the things I mentioned. It could be just one thing. No money, no money needed, just one thing.
Legal system.
Legal system.
They have been grappling with that for years. They didn't find a good solution. I don't know, I'm not the magician who could do that. But if I could do that, I would maybe install something like the reconciliation policy like they did in South Africa. The problem is, I mean, the system is so rotten, so corrupt, that it is very difficult to find judges, public prosecutors, lawyers who are not corrupt. But that would bring the whole country a huge step forward and show to the population too. I mean, we can do something about that.
Do I see a run in politics for Alex at some point?
No way.
You still?
No, I'm staying in the cozy banking.
Or Professor Alex, I think, could be coming at some point.
Could be interesting, but yeah.
So
on the side,
I'm sure it
pleasure.
Is. So if we're sitting here in 5 years' time, 2030 seems a long way away. What does success look like to you, Alex, to Moldindconbank and to Moldova? What does it look like?
Would be being in the European Union, and if not being there, being very closely related to the European Union. Moldindconbank should be really the people's bank. So thrive in the retail sector, where we are already almost number one, or in some cases number one. For me personally, it would be to have to get more agility in the team and to have in the team the understanding some problems can be solved agile, some problems will be solved the old way, and to know the difference and to work in the difference.
That's fantastic. Alex, appreciate your time.
Thank you.
I've loved my time here.
It was a pleasure talking
We've
to you.
got tomorrow, we've got a nice panel tomorrow with a few other folk.
Looking forward.
I'm looking forward to it. Thank you very much. And
Thank you.
I'll see you again soon. Thank
Hopefully,
you.
yes. Thank you.
Cheers.